resolutions which may pave way for the restoration of peace in the volatile politics of Rivers State. Among the resolutions reached are that all impeachment proceedings initiated against the governor of Rivers State by the State House of Assembly should be dropped immediately. Also, that the leadership of the Rivers State House of Assembly, as led by Martin Amahewele, shall be recognized alongside the 27 members who resigned from the PDP. The governor of Rivers State shall represent the state budget to a properly constituted Rivers State House of Assembly. At the meeting, it was also resolved that all matters instituted in court by the governor of Rivers State and his team in respect of the political crisis in the state shall be withdrawn immediately. Also, it was agreed that the remunerations and benefits of all members of the Rivers State House of Assembly and their staff must be reinstated immediately, and the governor of Rivers State shall not interfere with the full funding of the Rivers State House of Assembly. It is expected that this meeting may lead to a resolution of the political crisis and ease rising tension in the oil-rich states. All eyes now will be on both Governor Fubara and Nyesom Wike to see how they keep their end of the bargain and implement resolutions reached in a peace meeting brokered by President Bola Tinubu. Femi Akonde, TVC News, Abuja.
Now let's talk about the resolutions brokered by Mr. President to resolve the political crisis in Rivers State. I'm joined by Chairman of the Rivers Elders and Leaders Forum, a former governor of Rivers State during the Third Republic, His Excellency Chief Rufus Ada George, CON, joins us live this morning. Thank you for joining us on the program. Your Excellency, on Sunday, we understand that your forum resolved that President Tinubu should consolidate on his earlier intervention as the consequences of inaction you mentioned may be far-reaching. This meeting called by the President yesterday was exactly what you demanded, right? Chief Rufus Ada George joins us for details on this resolution. If you can hear me, I'm asking if Mr. President's intervention yesterday tallies with the demand your forum made on Sunday. Connection with our guest this morning. Indeed, perhaps a big breakthrough might have happened as regards the impasse we've witnessed and reported in the past weeks, particularly with political development in Rivers State. What may have seemed a big break with the meeting held behind closed doors yesterday at the instance of Mr. President, calling all of the stakeholders together to make a resolution. And as you can see on screen, we understand that all matters instituted in court by Governor Fubara and his team will be withdrawn immediately. Speaking to the division in the House of Assembly, recall that an ex parte motion by Federal High Court in Rivers State recognized Edison Ehihie-led 4-member team of the House of Assembly. We understand that all impeachment proceedings initiated against the governor by the State Assembly will also be dropped immediately. The leadership of the State Assembly, as led by Martin Amahewele, shall be recognized alongside 27 defected lawmakers. It means also that the 2024 budget of renewed hope, the 800 billion naira budget, as presented to the 4-member Assembly, which was passed in less than 24 hours, part of this resolution did mention that it will now be presented to the full House. Also, the remunerations and benefits of all of the members and their staff is to be reinstated immediately. I had spoken with one of the members who mentioned that the state government had held funding for the State Assembly and that it also meant that they were not going to approve any form of funding coming from the executive. Governor Fubara, according to this resolution, will also not interfere with the full funding of State Assembly. and that the State Assembly, with the complex now demolished, will choose where they want to sit and conduct the legislative business without interference by the state government. The 4 members, we understand, are sitting somewhere in the State House. Perhaps that will change moving forward. And also, we've seen 9 commissioners, resign in the past 2 weeks, beginning with the Attorney General of the state and Commissioner for Justice, whose resignation letter was dated 14th of November. Now, this resolution mentioned that all of those who resigned their appointments will now have to resubmit. The state governor, rather, will have to resubmit their names to the House of Assembly for approval. Interesting development, isn't it? We'll see how all of this play out. The big question this morning is, will this resolve the impasse in Rivers State? And we're following development closely. The Rivers Elders and Leaders Forum met on Sunday and came up with an initial resolution, part of which was asking Mr. President to follow up on his intervention and also find political solution to this challenge. That has happened, and we're trying to get feedback from the former governor of Rivers State as to whether this meets their expectation. We'll take a short break, and we'll be back with that interview. Stay with us, everyone.
Voted as the best TV station of the year. TVC News breaks into the core of every event as they happen. Following all nationwide big and impactful stories. Without the news from every perspective. Covering every human angle. I am Veronica, bringing you the news you would want to watch.
Every weekday on Business Nigeria, we uncover the secrets of the financial world,
breaking down intricate economic and financial matters.
We analyze the stock market, shares, bonds, and the thrilling world of cryptocurrencies.
We unveil and analyze complex policies of the CBN and other government parastatals as they affect your everyday life, keeping you a step ahead every time.
Okay, this is edible. Facts matter.
Now let's get some feedback on the resolutions reached with stakeholders in Rivers State at the instance of Mr. President yesterday. Mohammed has called in from Abuja. Good morning, Mohammed. Mohammed, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Good morning.
Good morning. What do you make of this latest development?
Yeah, the latest development from Port Harcourt, according to Robert Clark, I listened to him this morning on the Arise TV, is seriously aberration of the Constitution of Nigeria. The president has rights to intervene, but not to give such an outline, because Rivers State are the one that voted for their governor. So Rivers State is supposed to solve their problem, not to bring back those people that have defected. People that were defected and they were suspended by the National House of Assembly in Rivers State, and then commissioners willingly resigned. They willingly resigned, and then now the president is saying that they should bring them back. Definitely, according to Robert Clark, is a breach of constitution.
According to you, Mr. Mohammed, let us leave Robert Clark out of this conversation. What kind of intervention do you think? Just a minute. Listen to the question. What kind of intervention do you think the president would have brought forward that would have appeased to both parties in this case?
That is what I'm saying. For the peace to hold back, the president would have said that the speaker put in place by the court of High Court in Rivers State supposed to be the speaker. These people that have defected, they should come back and then join them and then move the step forward. That is the number one solution that is supposed to have done.
You mean they should come back to the PDP?
Yes, to the PDP. Yes, let them come back to the PDP and then join their colleagues And then the speaker that is in place by the High Court in Rivers should be the one that is the speaker now.
Are you aware that the PDP chairman in Rivers State was at that meeting alongside the caretaker chairman of the APC, and they both signed? We saw their signature on that resolution, right?
That is what we are saying. Because of the euphoria of the president, seeing the president there, they don't want to argue. But definitely that is why the lawyers now come back again. Now they didn't agree. The Rivers State chapter of lawyers, they say they have not agreed with that agreement.
But do you think these resolutions will be able to bring, a measure of relief and peace back to Rivers State?
It will not, because it will not deny those people from impeaching the governor. Definitely, if they accept the speaker, the former speaker, and then give them the power, and then they have defected to APC, and the governor remain in APC, except if they are telling us that the governor will defect to APC, that one is agreed.
And that's also not impossible, right?
Huh?
I said that's also not impossible.
It's not impossible, yes. If the governor agreed to defect to APC, that one is a clear case. The resolution is done. But if not, the governor will remain in a PDP and then this one in APC, definitely the impeachment will not be stopped. Because one day, because the guidelines say that they should be allowed to choose where they want to conduct their business, members' House of Assembly in Rivers. So they can choose Abuja to be conducting their business here.
Many made the call for the president's intervention, including the Rivers Elders and Leaders Forum, right? But
yes.
not many of them gave clarity as to precisely how the president should have resolved this matter. One would think on the surface that all of the parties involved saw this resolution and agreed to go ahead with this resolution. Are you optimistic that it will bring some reprieve?
What I'm telling you is that after that resolution, after signing the resolution, some of the elders in Rivers, I'm telling you this morning, according to some commentators in Arise, some of them, they have not agreed. Even some of the lawyers in Rivers, they say they have not agreed. They did not agree because the president is the president of the country. Rivers State is a subnational. Rivers State has their own rules and regulations.
I think we also have to ask the question of who the critical stakeholders are on this matter. The governor, the former governor, the parties, both parties were well represented at this meeting, including the National Security Advisor. Do you think there are bigger stakeholders than those individuals?
Yes, the former governor, the first civilian governor was not there. The emirs, the chiefs are not there. Some of the elder stakeholders, they are not there. They just selected the ones that they will answer them the way they want to. They just call them. So that is what they are saying. That is what they are saying now. That most of them, they are not there. They are not aware of that meeting. They did not invite most of them. Oh, have you seen any emir or any chief there? No any traditional ruler there. No any clergyman there. So that is what they are saying.
I actually thought this issue was between Governor Fubara and former Governor Wike. Do you think there are bigger issues to
political situation in Rivers
resolve
involve everybody?
That?
Involve the clergymen, involve the chiefs, involve everybody.
All right.
So they were supposed to be invited.
We'll probably see how it all plays out in the coming days. Mohammed Corden from Abuja. Thank you so much.
I think and I hope Buhari will defect to APC. That's all. If you do that, it has solved all the problem.
Well, we also will see how that plays out, particularly how, they say Wike is still with the PDP. We see how all of that plays. It's a big permutation of expectations in this regard, and that there are several ways it could go. But the big question would be, are these resolutions enough to restore peace? Are we going to see all the 32-member House of Assembly back together and see governors actually, make a headway in Rivers State? We're back with His Excellency Chief Rufus Adat George, CON, former governor of Rivers State during the Third Republic, his chairman, Rivers Elders and Leaders Forum. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Great. I was asking earlier if Mr. President's meeting yesterday is a fulfillment of your request your forum's request on Sunday as to the president's intervention in this regard?
Well, we want to first thank the president for quickly intervening and calling the parties to order, calling them to talk with them, but the resolutions, the decisions reached are far from what was expected to be arrived at maintain peace. Of all the resolutions reached, we can see that virtually all of them were geared towards the interests of one party, and that did not sound equitable. The only resolution that tended to favor the other party was the resolution that all things leading to impeachment of the governor should be dropped. But even then, that was not conclusive. It should have been conclusive if probably they had gone further to add 4 years in office, all the impeachment efforts or attempts should be dropped. But that notwithstanding, there were issues of legality which we are not solved, which is very, very important. And Nigeria craves to be a constitutional country where the Constitution directs the affairs of Nigerians. The president knows himself. I recall that he stood firm and fought and stood against, as the governor of Lagos State, and stood against President Obasanjo when he wanted to deny him the opportunity to create LGAs and other things, and even refused him, the government of Lagos State, the revenue, internal generated revenue to some extent. He stood firm, relied on his law-empowered authorities and constitutional privileges to win through his case. They cannot therefore deny the governor the constitutional power and authority vested on him. When we requested, when we made a plea, we said subject to the laws, And from what I have seen so far, it appears the constitution, the laws of the country are not vague. Whatever resolution must be related to what is defining, what is the current laws. And we have some group of legislators had openly declared with their own mouth, waving flags openly, that they are opting for another party, that is the PDP. They say you should be recalled with him immediately. Recalled into what party? Is it into PDP or is it into APC? This should be, for avoidance of ambiguity, this should be spelled out. If they want to come back, they should openly come to declare the party they want to now belong. And for that, the other legislators have, according to the law, suspended them from the House, which the law, the Constitution, and I has also that fact. For you not immediately, one is not the and for the say all their salaries, all right. Well, we support, but such cannot be done. It appears somebody sat in his bedroom and wrote all these things and just brought it and slammed it on the.
All right. I think I understand your objection to some of the resolutions, while it agrees with you on the impeachment plot, which you earlier described as unacceptable. It disagrees with your forum's position on the defection of the 27 lawmakers, which you condemned. But we saw the signature of Governor Fubara as well as chairman of the PDP on that resolution. So we're going to just go with that and hope that it wasn't forced on anyone. However, how optimistic are you?
Even on that, you could see from the signature, those who were there, you see that they are heavily loaded against the governor. And you see the signature, when you compare to see the ink, some who should sign, the other governor, the chairman or the person who signed and witness is signed in red, but the governor signed in black. So there are a lot of a lot of things that need to be critically examined in that signature.
Are you saying that these resolutions will not be adhered to and it won't resolve the political crisis in Rivers State?
Well, I don't know. I cannot say that because the resolutions have just been made, but the reactions, the majority of the people in Rivers State so far tend to sway against the clauses as they were framed, the clauses as they were written. That is the current position. I'm not sure. I can't say for certain what it will do and what it will not do, but definitely there is adverse negative reactions to it.
You know, there are those who have said, based on the Elders Forum's position on the demolition of the House of Assembly and the defection of the lawmakers, that you are seen to have taken sides on the matter. Do you agree with that?
No, definitely we've not taken sides. We've been, again, pleading for peace, wanting to maintain and talk to the parties concerned. We seek audiences from them individually, and we've not been able to attend that audience. We have not at all, in any form or shape, judged any of them. What we are now coming out to say is the resolutions as we see them.
But your statement, confirms that both former Governor Wike and Governor Fubara did not respond to your forum's invitation to have an audience with them on this matter. Is there a sense to which that speaks to how both parties perceive your neutrality on this matter?
That means, well, we are not siding any side. We are completely neutral. We've been advocating for peace, and Rivers State citizens have been commending the Elders Forum for maintaining neutrality, for being neutral, So I think that shows that both sides probably see that we are neutral. We are not against them in any form or shape. We have always insisted on neutrality and maintaining peace.
According to this new resolution, Your Excellency, the names of all commissioners who resigned as a result of the crisis are to be resubmitted to the House for approval. It will seem that both Governor Fubara and FCT Minister Wike's structures will have to work together. How do you see that play out in the coming days?
Well, I see it a mixed grade if it works out. But the fact that is it possible within the law? If it's possible within the law, then it could play out well. But if not possible within the law, which not what the law says, is bound to have some little rebounds and reflections.
It sounds a lot like a political solution, because the resolution is demanding that all the cases in court be withdrawn. So it sounds like it has nothing to do with the law. Do you agree?
No, I think it has something to do with the law. Always. It must have something to do with the law. For instance, if you tell one party withdraw all the cases you have in court, and these cases are built on these strong points, and if the cases are done, it has nothing to rely on again. So they are meant and supposed to be built on the Constitution and the law. And you can't change the Constitution.
Going by the law, I'm sure you are aware that the 27 lawmakers have also secured an interim order, asking INEC not to declare their seats vacant and instructing that INEC cannot conduct by-election, recognizing them as members of the Rivers State House of Assembly. Going by law, how long do you think that would take to have this matter resolved, seeing the implication of this fracas on governance in Rivers?
No, when this has happened, one side has to go on an appeal, and it will take the normal process of the appeal. It is possible it could be resolved within 1 week, within 1 month. It's possible it could drag on a bit longer, but the fact that it must comply with the law. The political solution is all right, but it must also comply with the Constitution and the law. Anything outside the Constitution makes it difficult to comply with. That means, which are you accepting? Is it the Constitution of the country which is supreme, or the political solutions?
All right, hold that thought, Chief. I just want to take some calls, from the viewers, and then we'll return to our conversation. Olufemi has called in from London. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen in the studio.
Good morning. Please go ahead with your contribution.
Okay. I just want to say a big thank you to President Bola Tinubu for being proactive in finding a resolution to this issue. Then secondly, I hope the elders in River understand all the paraphernalia involved in ensuring that Fubara emerged as the flag bearer. Now they are taking side. They need to tread carefully. They cannot just throw Wike away like that. It's not going to happen. And I hope that Fubara himself will learn from this job and become a man. He should be able to manage Honorable Wike. Okay? The two can work together. I think the president has done enough, and I commend the work has been achieved. Thank you.
Thank you, Olufemi, for your contribution. Chief Rufus Adageorge is Chairman, Rivers Elders and Leaders Forum, a former governor of Rivers State during the Third Republic. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for staying the course on the program. How do you react to those who think that this is a story of betrayal of a governor who is turning his back on his benefactor, the one who helped him become governor, and that without Wike's help, Governor Fubara may never have emerged? What's your thoughts on that narrative of the story?
Well, the thought is simple, straightforward. In politics, you're bound to have supporters, you're bound to have people who follow. And it's usual that normally the people being followed, the leaders, help to sustain those who supporting them in various ways. That is a normal thing. But when you help your supporter to attain a certain status, you also trust yourself and give them chances to strive. You don't say, because I supported this person, I must strangulate him, I must do this, I must do this, my structures. These are things which, using these personal pronouns, my, I, makes things go sour. So while I appreciate that Governor Wike must have helped in no small measure, to support Governor Fubara while he was seeking for office, it's a usual practice for politicians. But once you've done it, you have to have mutual understanding. You have to have mutual facts cleared, and not the way probably some people may do it, take it and say everything must be my way. And I think that is part of the confusion, part of the misunderstanding. And we all naturally human beings, when one comes with suppressive decision or actions, there is a tendency for the person to object a bit, to resist a bit. I think they should be able to work together if they decide to work together, and we will encourage them to work together.
All right. After the break, Your Excellency, I'd like us to explore the question of why there's been so much hostility between governors and their predecessors in Rivers State. But that's after this break. Stay with us, everyone. We'll be back with more.
Every weekday on Business Nigeria, we uncover the secrets of the financial world,
breaking down intricate economic and financial matters.
We analyze the stock market, shares, bonds, and the thrilling world of cryptocurrencies.
We unveil and analyze complex policies of the CBN and other government parastatals as they affect your everyday life, keeping you a step ahead every time.
Okay, this is the Facts matter. Our team dives deep to separate facts from popular opinion.
We simplify complex government policies as it impacts your everyday life, helping you navigate the ever-changing financial landscape.
Watch Business Nigeria every weekday at 2 p.m. only on TVC News. First with breaking news.
Thanks for joining us on the program this morning. With the resolutions brokered by Mr. President among the stakeholders in Rivers, bring lasting solution and resolve the political crisis in that part of the country, are we going to see all the 31 members of the House of Assembly sit together and also Governor Fubara representing the 2024 budget to that number? Are we going to also see some sort of a resolution in that regard from what we have witnessed in the past weeks? I guess time will tell. But my guest is Chairman, Rivers Elders and Leaders Forum, a former governor of Rivers State, Chief Rufus Ada-George, CON. Thank you so much for talking to us this morning. Quickly, if you can hear me, Chief Ada-George, some have made reference to as far back as 1999, you know, between you and your successor, Peter Odili, who I believe was your deputy while you were governor between 1992 and 1993. Some have drawn a nexus of bad blood between subsequent governors and their successors. Odili, Amechi Wike, and now Wike Fubara. What do you think is responsible for this history of hostility?
Well, that is exactly what we're trying to strive to find out and to correct. It's true that there's been a little bit of hostility between former governors and their deputies in the state. Well, most of the strife comes after the administration. To this reason, to this cause, I initiated a move on the 16th of this month after we issued the elders press conference, the communique. I issued a statement and that I would like to invite and discuss with all the former governors. I spoke to Peter Odile. I called him on the phone and spoke with him. It was very amicably, and I'm still waiting for his response. He told me he was going to call me last Sunday. I'm still waiting for his call.
Oh, we probably will have to, work on that network, and hopefully we can continue our conversation with the former governor of Rivers State, particularly when you consider the fact that this is not the first time that governors are having issues with their successors. Perhaps it's the first time that we're seeing, this happen between two individuals who supported each other on election day. It seems that Chief Ada-George is back. We lost you for a minute, but I guess you were talking about a call you put across to Peter Odili and that you're expecting him to return. We have to work on that so we can hear you clearly. Perhaps we'll return to that conversation in a few minutes. But interesting developments coming from Rivers State with the resolution. Let's open the phone lines and get your own reaction. You know, someone called earlier who was making reference to something he had on another channel. But we want to know what you think about this. We had Olufemi called in from London, who was of the opinion that this is the right step in the right direction. But how it will play out is another story entirely. In the coming days, we expect to get some reaction. Chief Ada George, if you can hear me, we lost you for a minute, but you mentioned efforts you have made to find out what the issues are, you know, between previous governors and their successors.
Yes, I did. And I don't know whether you're hearing me.
Yes, I can hear you now. I can hear you now. Please go ahead.
I did, and I mentioned that I spoke to Governor Odile, I spoke to Governor Amechi. We all promised that within a short time we will get back to each other and we will start arranging a meeting to solve the problem. And I hope that will lay the background towards this part of the solution between the immediate governor, the incumbent governor, and the past governor. That we have a flowing relationship between all of us. I think that will soon be done. I've spoken to the two of them in relation to our communique. And in pursuit of that, I think that I'm talking to them, and I think Governor Dele will go back to me. Governor Michi, when he comes back, will get back to me. And other people I've spoken to will get back to me. And we set the ball rolling very soon.
But personally, what do you think the issue is here? You don't think it's a coincidence that in the past 3 decades thereabout, there's a rich history of disagreements and hostility among these individuals. What do you think is the issue?
What I think is that by talking, we'll get to find out what the solution, what the reasons are for these coincidences. We are unable to find out now until we get together, but in most cases, I discover that it is as a result of misinformation, and people not being careful to find out what the true positions are, and probably the supporters trying to highlight this misinformation, and it escalates. So we'll find out the true cause of this situation, this relationship in the past. And as I said earlier, it's only after the administration. During the administration, the relationships are perfect. I remember my relationship with Peter Odile, though our period was short, was very cordial. Very, very cordial. Odile and his deputy never had any strained relationship, and I think they still managed it very well. Amechi and Wike, of course, it was not the direct governor-deputy governor relationship with the governor to chief of staff, I think something like that. And well, we are having these two friends coming together, having this relationship sour at the beginning, just less than 5 months, relationship sour. The others, at least, were able to manage their relationship till after the governorship, after they left office, before probably one thing or the other keeps us to survive. So we'll find out. When we start talking to ourselves, we'll be able to determine what the facts were, where we went wrong, and to correct the relationship. Thank you.
Just hold that thought for a minute, Chief. Let's get a caller in. Mazi Okorafo has called in from Arochukwu. Mazi, good morning.
my brother in the family. Compliments of the season.
I wish you the same.
Yeah, we thank God for our. Well, we look at the scenario now going on in Rivers State. I think there are two options. One, the governor, if you want to keep to the rules and regulations of the agreement, that's number one. If you don't want to keep on, what do you do? Throw in your towel. Listen, what are the lessons we are going to learn from what is going on in Rivers State? One, if you know that you enter into an agreement at the onset before they nominate you from the political party primaries, and you cannot keep it, don't go. Two, the agreement you are going to enter, you have to look at the advantages and disadvantages before you enter. And three, the godfatherism has come to create a very big hole in Nigerian politics. That means the youth we are talking about of tomorrow, many of them, they have no political will. They are not Democrats in the sense that unless somebody will push you, because if you look at what is going on now, you see, during campaign, the young man was not talking. He would just stand there and just, Wike will do the whole thing. I was asking myself, is that how it's going to govern at the onset when they started that campaign? Not a question of when the private, when they started the campaign. At the end of the day, they are just sitting there as a two. But the thing is that it has happened, we have no option. But number 4 or number 5, there are two things that is going to plague game now in Rivers State, which people don't know. I school in Rivers State, the first university of technology in this country, I schooled there. Now, what did I discover? Ikwere and Ejo, they are two different things. And the Ogoni people, they are two different. Andoni, let's bring Ikwere that are in the top of the government now, and in the from Wike side, and Ijo people. Now, the Ijo people will now feel that they are being cheated. Let me borrow a leaf from what happened in Abia State. I'm from Abia State. Arochukwu, my village is Atari village, a Zindu party, Atari Arochukwu. What is plain? When Oti came on board, the Ngwa people feel that the government belongs to them, that they will be dictating whatever that is happening. What are the Oti have to take his own great-great-grandfather's origin to Ngwa land. That was why Oti came on board. That was why, upon that, the party was not giving him a free hand. At the end of the day, the people decided that they would vote for Labour Party. That was why Oti came on board. Oti now Oti had to start developing that state from the Ngwa area, where he was just claimed that he's from Oti. Oti is from Arochukwu. Agree that is the great-great-grandfather that is from, what do they call it, Ngwa land. Now that is what is playing now in River State. That the River State owners, he could have come on board. If you check well during campaign, Amechi sang a music. Amechi said that if APC is to win that time, a candidate for APC, that the abandoned property in that place in River State will be given back to the owner. People raised a serious alarm.
Indeed.
But that abandoned property is still in there. But I pray one day, that abandoned property will come back to the owners.
All right.
Why are the people dominating the abandoned? Is equality. So they are not thinking that River State belongs to equality.
I get your point, Mazi.
He's playing the game. Ask yourself, you're going to people. I don't think that came into play at all.
I'm afraid that's your time.
State.
Please go ahead.
I don't think that the issue of abandoned property has ever come into play at all in the politics of history, modern politics of history of River State. So that issue does not arise if there is no state where some fashion of ethnic consideration is not into play. They come to play. We have no quarrel with Ikweres and other ethnic groups. The Ikweres have been in government. The other ethnic groups have been in government. The Amechi is Ikwere, Wike is Ikwere, and there is no Omega is Ikwere. We are not considering that into play, into what is happening. With the fact that Fuwara is a riverine, and Wike knew Fuwara was riverine before he helped him to come into play. Amechi has sponsored riverine candidates, Peter Side, coal. So those things are not into play at this time. I'd like to correct that point.
But are you concerned about conversations ongoing in Rivers in this regard? There are, councils in Ijaw, for instance, who are threatening fire and brimstone if the governor is removed because it's from their region. What's being done to play down the ethnic division dimension of this disagreement?
That's why we are praying for peace, because it is true Fubara is a job. And people are misconstruing or misreading what is playing now. How can, after maybe 16, 18 years, 20 years of equal rulership, the German is coming and you are not giving him a chance, even for 5 months, to stay completely, assess his rules, assess his performance, and they are breaking up things facts which are not explainable, which have not been explained to the people, to accuse him and probably use those to impeach him. That is why the use. And we have gone into the field explaining to them that we don't think that is safe and that they should be quiet. And that's why we are cautious. We are cautioned that whatever reasons they are giving to now recall people and give unconcluded reason that the governor should, no impeachment notice should be taken against the governor, and living in time without time, even if they said for the next 4 years and all the other concessions are made, it means a lot that they don't just withdraw their charges in the next 2 weeks. They find a reason to substitute new charges to impeach the governor.
But,
that's one reason why.
Some would say that's why perhaps the governor should also stick to the plan and the agreement. We don't know what agreement they had before the election, but some would say it is perhaps why the governor also has to observe status quo, particularly with the political structure that brought him to power, bearing in mind that it's a just time.
There could not be any other plan apart from the plan they come back public before they appoint.
You agree that you are a politician yourself. We don't know that. We don't know that. We don't know we don't know the conversations they had, before coming to the public.
What I'm trying to explain, if they had other plans, other agreement before coming, that is exclusive and should not generally interfere openly with what is applicable, the points they canvassed before the election, before the people. So if what is coming openly to us now, based on the resolutions reached and the basis which we are going to judge, then we say whatever they have canvassed privately is known for them. But the one that is public to us, there is the view that the governor attempts are being made to impeach the governor. So if there is a resolution to safeguard that, it should be conclusive. At least if they are going to withdraw and they should not impeach him within the next 4 years. This is the period of the duration of the political period. Since they are going to leave the House of Assembly members, which is not in conformity with what law says now because of the actions which they have taken, then they should also make this conclusive one way. So some of the youths are being restive. They are really restive. They just want to arbitrarily throw away their person they have from the government. And that is a serious thing. And that is why we, the youth, the elders, have gone into the field, talking to some of them. We are appealing to them that we are preaching peace. We must need peace and for progress. So that is why we are this. So if there is anything they reach privately, that is not known. That is not in the public domain. They know how to manage themselves. But the things that are in the public domain, they are things we are talking about.
So we have an 8-point resolution before us. You have seen it, and you've also commented on how you differ to some of those points. But what's your prediction about what will happen in the coming days? because you are closer to, the parties involved. Are you quite optimistic that this is it and this will end the hostility and the fightings that we have witnessed in the past months?
Until we're able to speak with them, if they grant us opportunity, we speak with them. They individually grant probably individuals, but collectively as a body, they've not. If we're able to speak with them and assess the situation, then we'll be able to come to such conclusion. But we are praying that this resolution should be able to help them consider peace moves and make sure they entail it. They accept the peace moves and maintain it. But until we're able to speak to them, other people probably have had opportunity to speak to them. We are still making contact. We are still encouraging them. We are still tabling the idea of peace. And so far, none of them have accused us that we are siding one side to the other. We've maintained some level of dignity and neutrality
Indeed.
in the whole affair.
It's a national platform we're on now. Just in case Governor Fubara or former Governor Wike or any of the lawmakers are watching, what would you say to them at this time?
Well, I will say to them, we are lucky the president has invited them for negotiation. There are a lot of speech, elder statesmen, people from the state, their communities, and so I've spoken to them. They should imbibe peace, they should ensure that they listen and be brothers keeper and make sure they are good neighbors, they're good friends, they relate to each other, and they should talk. They should talk among themselves and invite elders also and talk to them, listen to them, and allow people to listen, to talk. We will employ them, imbibe them to maintain peace. It's most essential. Because state is a complex one. If there is no peace, you never can say the youths are arrested. Things are difficult in the state. The economic situation is very difficult. The place is volatile, not only Rivers State, in all the states, most of the states of the Federation. If they don't maintain, if there's no peace seen from the two leaders, then probably no one can say what will happen. And we don't want anything to happen in the state or anywhere in the country.
We look forward to better days ahead in Rivers. Chairman, Rivers Elders and Leaders Forum, former Governor of Rivers State, Chief Rufus Ada Judge CON. Thank you so much for talking to us on the program.
Thank you.
And thank you everyone for being a part of it. The conversation continues on X, formerly Twitter. Remember to use the hashtag this morning and tag at TVC News and at Nifemi Oguntoye. See you again tomorrow.
Voted as the best TV station of the year, TVC News breaks into the core of every event as they happen. Following all nationwide big and impactful stories. Without the news from every perspective, covering every human angle. I am Veronica, bringing you the news you would want to watch.
Every weekday on Business Nigeria, we uncover the secrets of the financial world,
breaking down intricate economic and financial matters.
We analyze the stock market, shares, bonds, and the thrilling world of cryptocurrencies.
We unveil and analyze complex policies of the CBN and other government parastatals as they affect your everyday life, keeping you a step ahead every time.
Okay, this is the facts matter. Our team dives deep to separate facts from popular opinion.
We simplify complex government policies as it impacts your everyday life, helping you navigate the ever-changing financial landscape.
Watch Business Nigeria every weekday at 2 p.m. only on TVC News. First with breaking news.
Every week, Green Angle, in partnership with Wild Aid, will bring you a documentary series on environmental issues affecting Nigeria's amazing biodiversity, from climate change, air pollution, and wildlife conservation. We will be traveling across Nigeria to give you on-the-ground report of the issues affecting our environment. It airs every Saturday at 4:30 p.m. only on TVC News.
Kolishashla Mandela was born into the Madiba clan on 18th July 1918. He got involved in politics in 1942 as he helped to form ANC Youth League. He was married to Evelyn Mays and they had 4 children. Mandela was arrested in a countrywide police swoop on 5th December 1956, which led to the 1956 treason trial. Before the end of the treason trial, he wrote to Prime Minister for vote to include a national convention on a non-racial constitution, and failure to adhere would result to a national strike. In August, he was arrested and charged for leaving the country without a permit and inciting workers to strike. He was convicted and sentenced to 5 years imprisonment. On 9th of October 1963, he was on trial with 10 others for sabotage in what became known as the Revolver trial. On the 11th of June 1964, Mandela and 7 other accused were convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment. He was later released from its gates on Sunday, 11th of February 1990, 9 days after the unbanning of the ANC and the PAC. Nelson Mandela never wavered in his devotion to democracy, equality, and learning as he immersed himself in official talks to end white minority rule. In 1991, he was elected ANC president to replace his ailing friend, Oliver Tambo. In 1993, he and President F.W. de Klerk jointly won the Nobel Peace Prize, and on 27 April 1994, he voted for the first time in his life. On 10th May, he was inaugurated as South Africa's first democratically elected president. He, however, stepped down in 1999 after 1 term as president. Despite terrible provocation, he never answered racism with racism. His life is an inspiration to all who are oppressed and deprived, and to all who are opposed to oppression and deprivation. He died at his home in Johannesburg on 5th December 2013.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
There is always more to a story than the screaming headline. The part of a story that is not told casts a shadow. It's like the part of an object that is not reached by light. On TVC News, I'm able to explore the many angles there are to a story, talking to stakeholders, asking the difficult questions, and digging for facts. I believe the viewers are able to make a better decision if they're well informed and understand not just a part, but the complete story. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Hello again, and thank you for joining us on TVC News this hour. We begin with updates on the political crisis over the past few weeks in Rivers State, as now President Bola Tinubu has finally waded into the disputes between the Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, and the Governor, Siminalayi Fubara, as well as their loyalists. President Tinubu met with all of the key players in the political crisis in Rivers State, this to broker peace, and at the end of that meeting, a joint resolution was arrived at by all parties, with the National Security Advisor Nuru Ribadu in attendance. The parties resolved to put a stop to any attempts to impeach Governor Fubara, as well as the payment of allowances for the 27 PDP lawmakers who defected to the APC. The resolution also includes an agreement that the lawmakers be allowed to choose where they sit, as well as the resubmission of the budget to be presented to a full sitting of the House, and for all commissioners who resign to return. State House correspondent Femi Akonde tells us more on the outcome of the meeting.
The meeting was at the instance of President Bola Tinubu. It is a last-ditch effort to salvage an already bad political situation in Rivers State, after an initial attempt by President Tinubu to reconcile the differences between Governor Fubara and his predecessor, Nyesom Wike, failed. The meeting lasted more than 3 hours, but was able to reach some crucial resolutions which may pave way for the restoration of peace in the volatile politics of Rivers State. Among the resolutions reached are that all impeachment proceedings initiated against the governor of Rivers State by the State House of Assembly should be dropped immediately. Also, that the leadership of the Rivers State House of Assembly, as led by Martin Amahewele, shall be recognized alongside the 27 members who resigned from the PDP. The governor of Rivers State shall represent the state budget to a properly constituted Rivers State House of Assembly. At the meeting, it was also resolved that all matters instituted in court by the governor of Rivers State and his team in respect of the political crisis in the state shall be withdrawn immediately. Also, it was agreed that the remunerations and benefits of all members of the Rivers State House of Assembly and their staff must be reinstated immediately, and the governor of Rivers State shall not interfere with the full funding of the Rivers State House of Assembly. It is expected that this meeting may